What's up guys, it's your girl Kizzy and I'm back with another video. Hello! Let's go ahead and get right into it. This week's piece from my blog, dudskiera.com is titled #B. And this can be found on my website. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. #B. It is in connection in relation to others that you get to witness the many different sides of who you are. Through experience, I have come to learn that there are many different sides to me. Sides that I never knew existed. Sides that before beginning to heal, I hadn't considered because they were repressed in order for me to fit in, belong, survive, and be conditionally accepted. I'm not just this one thing that appears good looking and put together on the outside. In fact, I'm a pretty dynamic soul. And it's through my life's experience that I've been able to see just how multidimensional I am, how human I am. In my romantic relationships, I'd always attracted people that would only see some sort of idealized version of me, a version of which is only light, bright, and happy. While under the surface, a version of me that is quite insecure, afraid, uncertain, and a mess was always unseen under unrealistic expectations, as if I was other to carrying different parts of expression. I'm a person just like they are, a person that has insecurities, fears, doubts, and problems just like they do. But because of my light, there's this idea that I don't also exist within the same realm of humanity. Which, I mean, is true. I don't believe I'm from Earth. I actually feel I am part fairy, part angel, and overall otherworldly, but have been reincarnated here to carry out a mission for and with God. But that's besides the point. I am still here as a human being having a human experience. After the honeymoon stage, when more of who I was expressed, as it is after this part of relationship, it was like the other sides of me weren't wanted or seen as valuable. It made me feel like all of me isn't good enough or acceptable, and that only certain parts of me are lovable, while the others just need to be put away. And it's not that I was acting out or being any specific way, but when things were just more chill and real, it seemed to make them question things, which made me feel insecure and not fully seen. It just felt like, because things were no longer always exciting and bubbly, it was on me. Like the more they got to see other sides of me that weren't as fun, it became almost questionable if I was still worthwhile. Like all they wanted was what they saw me to be from the outside. Like all they wanted was the good parts of me. Which explains my fearful avoidant attachment style and deeply rooted fear of intimacy. Into me see, as Teal Swan would say it. I describe intimacy as the ability to let people see all of you. The good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the kind, the mean, the soft, the aggressive. And really letting deep connection build from a space of, this is me, and I choose to let you see me. Even though I feel like there's a chance you will reject me, see sides of me that I'm not fond of, and even abandon me. To me, intimacy says, this is who I am, and I courageously welcome you in, even though there are imperfections, flaws, and insecurities. And while I deeply crave intimacy, to be seen, loved, heard, and admired for who I really am, I am afraid of being exposed. Not that there is something to expose or some hidden agenda I'm carrying, but exposed as in, I have always repressed and suppressed parts of me that have been labeled bad and negative, like my emotional depth and anger. So to then let my badness be seen feels vulnerable because of the shame I have been made to feel. Naturally, we've learned that whatever is labeled bad or negative is not to be seen, but denied. As a child, never being accepted or seen as enough for being myself, and experiencing this pattern of replication in my romantic relationships, it's been hard for me to accept all of who I am, not just what is perceived as good enough or valuable. It's like I have this consistent feeling of something being wrong with me, of something being defective about me, of me being bad, as if there are parts of me that are just too much and will never be acceptable or worthy of sincere love. I wouldn't consider myself a bad person, but yet it's like there's a voice inside of me consistently telling me that I am, and that I'll never be good. The feeling of me needing to do and be more is always creeping in, like nothing is and will ever be enough. Which is interesting, huh? How you can feel and be perceived as too much and not enough at the same time by yourself and others. I'm not always happy and joyful. I'm not always certain and confident. I'm not always smiley and open. I'm not always lighthearted and unafraid. My anger makes me feel like an aggressive, short-tempered toddler that could snap at any moment without restriction. My sadness has a depth and intensity to it that feels so sensitive and fragile. My unconventional way of thinking feels like a burden in a world where we're all supposed to think the same. My inability to fit in makes me feel like I don't belong, and the truth teller in me makes me feel like I should be silent to not ruffle any feathers. Through my experiences with rejection, betrayal, abuse, and abandonment, I've been so conditioned to believe that I am broken and need to be fixed, when a lot of what was put on me was never mine to begin with. I just internalized it and made it so. Connections, past and present, have been divinely orchestrated to reflect back to me my emotional density so as to bring about my internal healing, restructuring, and power. I have a lot of sides to me, but they're not all pretty. At least that's what it feels like. Whether they can truly be distinguished as ugly and pretty, good or bad, positive or negative, is subjective. But regardless, to me, observing all of my parts has been a unique experience on my journey of uncovering and becoming. Who I am is just me. Who I am is just free. Our ego creates many restraints for us when it comes to existing freely as we are, because it is not normalized to boldly exist in all your messiness. And my ego is creating restrictions by attaching to outgrown ways of being, thinking, and believing out of fear of the unknown, judgment, separation, and exposure. Hence the whole idea of imposter syndrome. It's not that you're an imposter or a fraud. It's that you're a human struggling to believe you, in this patriarchal society, can be infinite within the realm of this 3D world that tells us we cannot be unless we are perfect, proper, or conformative, through the reflection of people, places, and systems of oppression. Still, these are the feelings that I am growing through and narratives that I am rewriting. It's important for me to decide for myself that I am enough, lovable, and worthy. Regardless of who said and did what and when, I can take control and accountability for my own story. Healing happens in layers, and it is through understanding, rewiring, and transmuting my pain that I am able to come into the opportunity of embracing radical self-love and acceptance for who I am, all that I am. We are all different, and as I've said before, our differences make us who we are. We are complex individuals, and even when we don't want or try to be, we just are. And in my heart, I know that's not a bad thing and can give us space to create safety and community if we let it. Thank you. So, this is really different for me. I feel like this is one of my most vulnerable pieces yet because it's so real and true to me. I have been through a lot when it comes to connections, and this is, familial friendships, romantic relationships, and I haven't had the best time, right? I've really struggled internally and externally when it comes to feeling worthy and feeling like I'm enough and feeling like I'm not being used and feeling like I am wanted for who I really am. And so, I'm not just this one thing, but I feel like when people see my light and they see my energy and they see my sincerity and they see my heart, they see my purity, they think that that's all that exists and they want that, right? Whereas it's like, I'm actually a whole human being, right? So I'm not always this bright, bubbly, happy person, right? I can also be angry. I can also be very sad. I can also be very emotionally intense. I can also be very afraid, very doubtful, very insecure, right? Just as the next person can be. And it's like when I've gotten into these relationships, it's given me very much this feeling of like they wanted me for what I look like and what I seem like from the outside. But once they started to get to know me and things weren't as upbeat, right? It was like, you know, do you think the honeymoon phase is over? And I could just tell that they felt some sort of like lackluster for the relationship or for our experience. And it's like, I think people expect me to be this one thing because that's what they perceive me as, without really taking into consideration that I am a person, right? I still have light and dark aspects. I still have many different sides to me, just like they do. I'm not opposed to that because I'm in the public eye. I'm not opposed to that because I put myself out there. I'm not opposed to that because I'm a light. I'm not opposed to that because I'm a loving and kind and genuine person, right? But for some reason, that's what has happened to me. And it's made me feel like people don't actually want me for me. They want me for what they think I can offer, or what they see on the outside, but not all of me, which has made me really feel rejected. Not to mention, you know, I already felt rejected and not accepted in my childhood by my family. So that's really where it starts. And through my relationships, and not just romantic like I talk about here, but through my relationships in general, that rejection and lack of acceptance for who I really am, all that I am, has been reflected to me. And, you know, I don't, people might say that I'm tripping for this or I'm wildin', but I don't believe that I am from this earth. I don't believe that I'm from here. I actually feel like I am from the clouds. I feel like I am a fairy. I feel like I am an earth angel. I feel like I'm just like not human, but I'm human. Like if you get it, you get it, but if you don't, you don't. Just because I feel like, and it's not to separate myself from others and be like I'm so different, but like I'm genuinely just very different. And when you're very different and you don't fit in and you think differently and you feel differently than most people do, it's almost most likely a sign that you're not from here, right? When you feel out of place, even just being on earth, when you're like, oh, I hate it here, you're probably not from here, right? If you're feeling really called to the mystical realm and spirituality and things like clouds and birds and animals and nature and freedom and free thought, I feel like those are signs, and those are me, but those are signs of like, I'm really not from here, but I'm here, right? I'm having the human experience, but am I really like, is this like the only thing that I know? Nah. I feel like me getting in these relationships and being rejected and not accepted and abandoned and betrayed for being who I actually am has made me feel like who I actually am is not okay, you know, like it's not good, like it's bad, like I should be ashamed for telling the truth. I should be ashamed for feeling how I feel. I should be ashamed for being who I am. I should be, you know, upset at who I really am. Like it just feels like a lot of shame, honestly, for being who I am. And like I say here, I don't feel like I'm a bad person, but it's like I've just experienced a lot of pain when it comes to people that I have put on pedestals and have trusted and have loved. And I really feel like I've been let down, which has really caused me to feel like, what's wrong with me? Why does this keep happening to me? There's something defective about me. I am the problem, right? And it's really made me feel that way. And when you go through so many rough experiences with people that you trust and love and care for, it really does change your whole world, and it really does make you rethink things. And it really does bring out that emotional density that you have from childhood, that you have from experiences that you haven't healed, that you have from wounding that you haven't fully felt, you know? And you really start to think like, no one's ever gonna love me for who I am, because every time I feel like I am who I am, it's like people are like rejecting it, denying it, not wanting to see it, pushing it away, trying to dim it, trying to hide it, trying to stifle it. And it has made me afraid of intimacy, intimacy, because I feel like it's happened so many times that I've let people see me. What if I continue to let people see me and they still don't like me? What if that proves my wrongness, my badness, my not enoughness, my unlovableness? What if I'm judged for who I am? What if people don't like me? What if people point the finger at me? Like, there's just so many things that you become afraid of, and you become almost like when really it's like you want it, right? There's so many of us that want intimacy and real love and deep connections, but because of our trauma, we really feel like we're not deserving or worthy, or that it's not possible for us to have somebody that is going to love us all and not want to leave at the first sign of an issue or a problem or a difference, right? And I've had that happen too, where like I've been in disagreements with my partners and like they rush to like leave, and it's like, we have an argument and you are so ready to leave. It just makes you feel like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Just to see how fast people can like want to run away. And I know it's not personal, but still, you know, that's how it feels in the moment. Like, damn, you ain't even really down for me. You want to run away. Excuse the sounds, guys, they're playing out there. But it's like, you're ready to run away at the first sign of like issue. You know, it's like, damn, are you really here for me then? Or are you just here for a good time, right? Which then makes you feel like you're being used. Like I have felt like I'm being used. Like you don't actually want me. You just want what I can do for you, what I can give to you, right? And I am fully aware of the power of my energy, that I do have this very bright, light, soft, comforting, real, pure energy. So energy is currency as well. So people will definitely use and want your energy, but not who you actually are, right? They don't realize that you're more than just an energy. But I feel like you know, even me writing this and speaking it now is helping me, because I've heard that when you release shame, it helps you, right? It helps you to feel better because you're not holding it in. You're letting people see you. And I think, again, this piece is very vulnerable for me because I feel like I'm really letting myself be seen. And that scares me because it's just like, what if this, what if that? you know? When like all I want is love. When all we want is love, we'll do almost anything to keep that, you know? And so I just want to be loved, and I don't want to lose that love. I don't want to lose connection. But naturally, you know, as you heal, as you grow, as you change, you do lose people, you do lose things, you do lose thoughts, you do lose ideas. And that's really what has happened and is happening to me. I'm quite literally a different person. I'm becoming a different person. And I'm being offered the opportunity to think and feel in new ways. And it's just so different for me that it's uncomfortable, right? And like I said in my last video, change is uncomfortable. But it doesn't mean that it's not for me. And it doesn't mean that I can't go through with it, right? Because God created this plan for me, and God created me. I had found myself thinking, like, why me, God? Like, why did you choose me? Like, why am I the one that does this when I'm not even perfect, when I'm not even this, when I'm not even that? And God's like, it doesn't matter what you think you are. That's ego, right? And that's not the truth. So I'm going to put you through the chaos and destruction to bring rise to your power, to your conviction, to who you really are, to a version of yourself that you love and accept for all that you've been through and all that you are. And you're going to see that there's nothing wrong with you, and there never has been anything wrong with you. But you see, God had to teach me that. God can't just be like, you are this, because I'm not going to believe it. You know, like I say here, I have to be the one to decide. Nobody else can decide for me whether I'm worthy or enough or lovable. They can say I am, and they can make me feel like I am, and they can, you know, act like I am. But at the end of the day, if I don't believe it for me, if I don't feel it for me, if I don't release for me, it's not going to stick. It's not going to stand, and it's not going to be stable. And that's really what I want, that stable foundation. And how do I get to that? By being honest, by being real, by being true to me, by speaking from my heart, by living for me, by being me consistently, right? Consistently putting myself out there, consistently being myself, consistently speaking my truth, consistently healing my emotions, consistently looking at my childhood, consistently looking at my wounds and relationships and past and whatever is holding me back and holding me down. You don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm enough, I am lovable, right? You really have to go through the process. And this really for me is and has been a process. You know, my anger, I'd never thought of myself to have light and dark sides. Before healing, I really just thought like of only my light self and like my happy, go-lucky, uplifting, encouraging, fun, free side. But I hadn't thought of the side of me that is depressed and sad and angry and rageful and not giving a fuck, and is ruthless, and is unhappy, and is feeling inadequate, and is deeply sad and insecure and afraid and uncertain and messy and chaotic. Like, I've always been someone to focus on the light, which you'd argue that's why only people saw me for my light, because it's like, I only saw me for that. So how could somebody else reflect back to me all of me if I wasn't even seeing all of me? You know, which again brings it around back to the point of like, that's what healing is. It's literally full circle coming back to yourself and realizing and actualizing yourself and becoming. So yeah, I'd never thought of like light and dark sides until I realized in one of my relationships, and even looking back, all of my relationships, that like I also contributed to the unhealthiness of it, right? I also contributed to the issues. I also contributed dark aspects, you know, like I can be snappy. I can be sharp with my tongue. I can be standoffish. I can be cold. I can be distant. I can be impatient. I'm not just this one thing. I am many things, right? I'm flirty, I'm fun, I'm sensual, I'm sexy, I'm innocent, I'm kind, I'm sweet, I'm devilish, I'm submissive, I'm dominant, I'm bold, I'm afraid, I'm shy, I'm reserved, I'm outgoing, I'm confident, I'm doubtful, right? I'm secure, I'm insecure. Like, I'm so many things. I'm just me. I can't even like say this or that or that or this. Like, I'm just like so many things. I don't literally know like how else to put that. Like, it's just like, it is what it is. And it's hard to understand. And I feel like that's where people get in their own tiff, because they're like, I don't understand her. Like, she's not, every time I think I understand her, every time you think you understand me, you actually don't, which I kind of love, right? But it's like, every time people think they understand me, they don't. And it's like, I'm just me. That's just it. And it's not that I'm not ever going to be understood or I'm not understandable. It's just that it takes time to get to know me and understand me and really, you know, figure out who I am and like what's beneath the surface. Because I'm not just like always this open book, and I'm not just like always open, and I'm not just, you know, willy-nilly with my energy, because I've had to learn that like discernment is key, right? Listening to your intuition is key, and not everybody thinks like you, and not everybody is you, and so you really have to be careful who you give your energy to. But there are people that will see me and will love me for all my messiness and my loveliness and my chaoticness and my put togetherness and my beauty, but also more than my beauty, because I am more than my beauty. And a laugh, right? And a cute smile. I'm more than that, right? I'm more than that. You are more than that. And especially in my past, you know, using sex as a way of self-harm, or using it to feel something and to feel wanted and things like that. It's like, you have to realize that, like, and I had to realize that I'm more than that, that I deserve more than that, and that I'm not just a body, you know, I'm not just a distraction. I'm not just this thing that is like fun. I am an actual person with actual qualities that are more than just party, yeah, woo, you know? And I'm still worth it. And it's crazy, like talking, I'm like actually healing, and even writing this I was healing, and even reading this back I was healing, and I'm healing, and it's just I'm healing, and this is crazy, you know? It's really coming to life. And that's what happens when you persist and you're resilient and you keep feeling your emotions and you keep diving in and you keep sharing yourself and you keep committing to you and 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 you, no matter what, right? And so, you know, because I'm changing, my ego is obviously wanting to attach these outgrown versions of me and these outgrown ways of thinking and being and seeing things. And it's up to me to really decide, like, okay, I'm going to release this. Okay, that's not me anymore. Okay, I want to move on. Okay, I can be more. Okay, is that really true? You know, it's up to me to challenge myself and my thoughts and really detach from the versions of me and the version of me that feels unlovable and unworthy. And like, you know, if people see who they are, they're gonna reject them. I'm seeing 555 in the window right here, which is change. But it's like, there's nothing wrong with who I am, you know? And I fully recognize that in my logical mind. But in my emotional mind, it's like I get caught up in these stories in the past and the pain and the betrayal. And, that's where it's up to me again to feel those things and transmute those things and turn those things into gold, right? And use them for me, not against me. Because really thinking about it now and talking about it now, they're not meant to be against me. They're meant to be for me. But again, I have to decide that, right? We have to decide that. The idea of imposter syndrome of like, you're not who you say you are, you're not this or that, even though you're appearing to be or you are this or that, it's not real. It's something that we create based off of things that people have told us, ways that people have made us feel. And, it sort of creates this distortion in our minds that like we're an imposter to, let's say, being a leader because, we're imperfect, because we don't know everything, because we're not all put together. But it's like, you don't have to be all put together. You don't have to know everything in order to step into your power, in order to step into your place in the world, right? And that's quite literally conditioning from the patriarchal society that I speak of, that is based on control, that is based on conformity, that is based on being small, that is based on keeping your mouth shut, that is based on following and not creating and not leading, that is based on restriction, that is based on oppression, that is based on prejudice. It doesn't leave space for you to really know that you can be who you are. That you can be who you are. It quite literally teaches us through people and places and systems that we should be ashamed of our messiness. But I'm learning and realizing I don't have to be, right? We don't have to be. And this healing, it happens in layers and it takes time, and I've had to look at things over and over and over, and the things that I thought I've healed and I was done with, I have to go back to, and I have to sit with, and I have to release and release and release. And like I say, we are all different, and it's not to say we're all different like to push individualism, but it is to say we are all different. Why not embrace that we're different and acknowledge and accept that we're different and that we're all actually complex and nobody is actually one thing, nobody is actually perfect, and then create community out of it, right? Create a safe space for everybody to be who they are, for people to come as they are, right? And of course, I'm always going to encourage healing and being healthy and becoming better and doing better, right? Because that, your energy affects other people's energy. But nonetheless, I want to see you, right? I want to see you. And I think I do a great job at already creating space for people to just be who they are and say how they feel without restriction and just be. And that's all I really want, is to create that space of being, of I don't care about XYZ. Who are you today? How do you feel today? And not I don't care as in your feelings are invalid. Not I don't care as I don't want to hear your experience. But as in, I'm not gonna hold you to that, right? I'm not gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna love you and accept you and see you for who you are. And I want you to be comfortable and know that you can show me who you are. So yeah, I have a lot of different sides to me. And they're not all pretty, at least to me. My anger makes me feel like a red hot thing. My sadness is just so like encompassing and deep that I'm just like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, nobody's ever gonna like this. Nobody's ever gonna appreciate this. Nobody's ever gonna love this. Nobody's ever gonna stick around with me because I'm just too much and I'm just all this and I'm just all that. And it's like, I'm just me, and I just want to be.
And I've just been made to feel so ashamed of who I really am. And like, who I really am is to be rejected, and it's not enough, and it needs to be changed. And so I just feel like something's wrong with me. But I think it also makes me cry because it's like there's nothing wrong with me. You know? Which is like, what? There's nothing wrong? No. This feels insanely liberating. But also really nerve-wracking because I'm really being like, I'm putting myself out there, but I want to do this. You know, I feel this in my heart. I feel this in my soul. And so it's worth saying, you know? I know there are also other people out there that are feeling this same exact way, that feel like they can't say it because it makes it real, that feel like they can't say it because people will make fun of them, because people will say they're too much, or say they're not enough, or say they're crazy, or say they're wildin', or saying all these other things and judgments that they have of themselves and that others have made of them. But it's like, I can't change who I am. I can't change who I fundamentally am. I can't change who I'm meant to be. And I honestly don't want to. I just want to come into a place of self-acceptance and self-love and freedom. So I love you guys. If you watched this whole video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me through this healing process. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for honoring me. Thank you for supporting me. And thanks for existing. So I'll see you guys next time on the next episode. And